Everybody, what's up? What's up? LSU Odyssey live pregame here. LSU facing Vanderbilt in what? Just under an hour and a half here. And according to a lot of people, including some eyewitness photos, right there on the ground, it's pretty dead. Pretty dead environment, which is sad to see. That that it could be a dead environment like that for an LSU game, a night game, in any way, shape, or form for any game just sickens me. And usually I'm home watching that and I'm like, God, how is that? I'd love to be there, and it's just like empty. That's crazy. Parking spots to be had that close to the stadium is absolutely unheard of. It's unheard of. Anyone who's been to Tiger Stadium even once knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's unheard of to see all these type of just empty parking spaces. It's not good. It's a vote of no confidence. It's a vote against a team that they feel hasn't played hard enough, hasn't played with any grit, any emotion, any intensity, any desire. A team that it's not just that they're losing; it's how they're losing. It's the fact that they are throwing in the towel completely in some of these games and just collapsing at the worst times. It's almost like the fan base is getting stabbed in the heart over and over and over with these plays, with these mistakes, with these errors. So I understand the anger. I understand the dismissal of this losing and this disgust of this losing. But what I've really never understood, just because I'm not this type of a person in any way, shape, or form with how I do things, but the apathy, that is when you are falling off a cliff. It's not just people are coming in there saying, God damn it, Brian Kelly, you need to start winning. It's not, it's, I don't give a fuck if Brian Kelly's winning or not. We're not going to be there. It's people who just aren't going to be there. People who have really saved up their money, gotten those season tickets. They've kept the season tickets in the family for decades, these types of situations. And now they just don't care. In these games, they're not even going to make the drive. Maybe they live across town. They're not even going to make that 20-minute drive. Maybe it's an hour stuck in traffic, whatever. But they do it every weekend because they know what they're going to see, a team that's going to give everything. And maybe they just feel that they're not confident they're going to see that. And they're not confident they're going to see a staff that are dialed in, that want to win. Maybe that's what they feel, and maybe that's the vote of confidence here, with so many empty parking spaces, so many empty seats probably going to be in the stadium. But you know what? We're not going to have the apathy here. We are going to be dialed in and invested and interested in this game because it is still LSU football. I take every single one of these games very, to me, I feel like if you throw away a weekend of college football, you've literally just wasted a weekend of college football. And there's so few and far between and precious, especially if you're not going to have any postseason play. It's you've got to make them count. For instance, a player who's in the Blitnikoff chase or in some other, big time award chase there, and they're like, oh, I need to get that 100-yard game. I need to get that 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And, a couple of games you only get 50 yards. Like it's very, very precious each and every weekend in college football. And I feel LSU have thrown weekends away. And I feel now it's make fans be apathetic and almost like they don't care if they miss the game or even understand what happens tonight, or even because they know that Kelly's going to stay. They know that Joe Sloan is likely out from this team. We understand that Bryce Underwood is not going to be coming to LSU. Like, there's all these things that have been very declared, very loudly, very, very loudly declared over the last few weeks, and it built to a crescendo up until this last few days with Bryce Underwood's decommitment and then commitment for $12 million to Michigan at LSU's expense, LSU's loss. And so LSU have some wounds to lick. But here's the thing, they don't have time for that. They have a very how do I describe Vanderbilt? They're a very opportunistic, but like almost like a cutthroat opponent. They will finish you if you turn your back to them. If you give them an opportunity to beat you, they will. Whether that's Pavia's legs, Pavia making effective throws to guys like Eli Stowers, right? Oh, the tight end over the middle. That dude is someone I really am. I'm really worried about after watching film and watching this Eli Stowers. I think that's his name, right? Stowers. But I was watching him just really destroy people in the perfect type of route combinations and route setups that hurt LSU usually. And so I'm just like, oh God, no, please no. And Eli Stowers leads Vandy's offense with 557 yards, 42 catches, 4 touchdown grabs. You know, Pavia only 15 touchdown passes, but 1853 and only 3 interceptions. So very efficient and effective. Then leads Vanderbilt in rushing. Diego Pavia with 628 and 5 rushing scores. This is a team that can hurt you in multiple different ways and really make it a long night. And LSU wearing the gold uniforms for the first time since however long. It's going to be a crazy night. Sorry, I needed some water. Hey, Sage, you want some juice? You want some juice? I'll get you some juice. Jordan Haddad says, "What did you crack?" What? No one's doing crack here. I'm not sure what you're meaning. I'm not sure what you're meaning then. You're seeing this is a team that really needs some type of just big play to start this game. You know, some type of just a spark. This team needs a spark. And Caden Durham, you saw him do it against South Alabama. Caden Durham's got to make a big play. Xavion Thomas on a kickoff return, you know, like someone getting a pick six early. Someone, you know, finally the defense scoring a touchdown this season. Something like that could kickstart this game for LSU and really turn the tide and give us that extra possession. How well can Garrett Nussmeier play tonight when he doesn't have the full faith of that offensive line. News on that offensive line as well about concerning who will be available. It is going to be literally beyond a game time decision for both Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier. It's going to be literally like as they're out on the tunnel, going out the tunnel. We're talking the locker room right before they're coming out. Like, how do you feel? Like that's when this decision is going to be made. So it's not ideal. It's crazy. A lot of people are just avoiding this game. It's like I would have loved to have been at this game because it's going to be a very significant environment as far as the future of LSU football. Who's willing to fight? Who's willing to stick their neck in the fire? Is Kelly really going to have it in him to continue and stay and fight for this project that he's built? Because, like, if he's going to fold, if Kelly's really going to be on the way out after this season, something crazy like that, which would take a lot, but it would also take him just taking another job somewhere, someone else buying him out in another way as well. But like it would take a lot of different financial levers to be pulled. But basically, if a guy doesn't want to be somewhere, those levers can be pulled. But if that's going to happen, it's gonna look like that tonight with some just complete apathy from Kelly as well. You can't have that tonight. You cannot have that from LSU tonight. There has to be some type of fight, some type of desire, some type of impetus from this team. It's really sad to see that there's going to be empty seats, that there's going to be huge swaths of just complete empty bench, just all this space in the stands for the players to see and kind of get the message of this vote of no confidence. But like, okay, but screw them. They're not playing the game anyway. Like, they have no effect on the game anyway. Like, this is football in its most purest sense now. It's not for the fans. It's not even for the play. It's not even for the team you play for. It's not even for the coaches you play for. It is literally for every one of those 22 guys. It's literally for the name on the back of their jersey that they're playing for out there tonight. It is literally football at its most primitive, basest, most animalistic instincts tonight. And if LSU do not have, bless you, my love, if LSU do not have that type of grit and fight, I'm not expecting them just, you must win. Like, I mean, they absolutely should. This is Vanderbilt. But if they do not at least show 4 quarters of fight, 4 quarters of desire, 4 quarters of just giving everything, you're going to understand why. You're going to fully grasp why, and the scenario around the entire thing is going to send a really sour message. But man, oh man, will it look ugly, because there's nothing worse, there's nothing more savage of an indictment than when the team personifies the coach, but they personify the coach's like laziness, lack of desire, lack of drive, and just complete dysfunction. That's when you've got to cut the ties. We will know the answer, I think, to that question tonight. I don't think it's that dramatic as well. Like, Kelly's likely going to be here regardless. But the tone has been so out of control, toxic, it's the biggest brand killer. It's the biggest way to just it's crazy that LSU survived seasons like this a few times just in the last 5 years. Just imagine if the Tigers hadn't won that 2019 championship. It's almost like 2019 was like this karmic grace. Just because we've been through so much bullshit and had so much just crippling defeats and terrible losses and bad injuries and just all this really disappointing, really in your face, terrible type of, luck of the draw type of people would say. But it's like, no, this is just the football gods shitting on LSU again, that's what it would feel like. But then in the 21st century, LSU really built by Nick Saban, continued by Les Miles, Coach Ed Orgeron, and for a time, Brian Kelly, hopefully for the rest of his tenure, Brian Kelly. But right now, it's not looking like it's in that same vein, that same mindset. It looks like that brand, that vibe of LSU football, that aggression, that all-out intensity, that all-out fever dreaming fire, just right up, we're going to come flying right into the backfield. We're going to desecrate your quarterback all night long. We're going to get sacks. We're going to send guys to the NFL. We're going to burn your ass, we're going to burn this motherfucker down. That was the type of vibe LSU football always had and always will have when it's right. When it's right. It's supposed to be like that. When it's wrong, it's wrong. It's in your face. It's obvious. It's soft. It's everything that football shouldn't be, just on the basis. But it's worse because it's LSU, and LSU is really supposed to be built off of, we're better than all of you, no matter what. At the end of the day, we're gonna cross that line more than you're going to. It's really, we're gonna get the harder hits. We're gonna skirt the line with the referee. We're gonna get those flags for some of the unsportsmanlike conducts type stuff, like the taunting. LSU would tell you they were going to kick your ass. They did it. They meant it. And then they beat you. And then they actually won. They actually won championships doing that with multiple coaches, multiple different regimes, multiple teams, but a lot of the same people in the athletic department have kind of stayed throughout this whole tenure, really, if you go looking and deep diving, until Brian Kelly came in. When Brian Kelly came in, he cleaned house with a lot of different people. A lot of different people were fired without even an interview or anything. He just wanted no connection with with Coach O's prior administration that had gotten into trouble with a lot of legal stuff. Sharon Lewis, the Title IX stuff, all that. He didn't want any part of it. Understandably so. He's right. He's gone right back to that well, no matter what, though. He's literally gone right back to that well, to Frank Wilson, Corey Raymond. You fire him, bring him right back. I'm surprised he didn't hire Mickey Joseph again, but my God, he's and for all of Brian Kelly's faults, he's also done a lot of great stuff at LSU. He's also won a lot of huge games at LSU when you're talking about beating Alabama, beating top 10 Ole Miss twice here, really embarrassing Lane Kiffin and kind of nailing home the Lane train sucking. 1 second. What? Did you drop something down the couch? He dropped some type of thing down the couch. He wanted Thomas. He wanted his Thomas. I'm like, you're embarrassing me in front of the whole world, buddy. What are we doing here? Come on. And then I got my hand on something, and he was like, yes, Thomas. We resurrected Thomas, huh? Sorry about that. You know, it's very concerning, the future of LSU, because you're going to have to raise a lot of money to compete with these guys. You know, the Texases, the Michigans now, the A&Ms with their money as well. Miami, USC. There's just these schools that have absolute mega donor money, and they have nothing better to do but to go at war with their other rich buddies. Really. That's it. Outbid their rich buddies for athletes, for high school athletes. So, what? Well, maybe next time you shouldn't just push some stuff down underneath the couch, buddy. Jesus H. Christ. So, LSU absolutely just need a win here. No matter, just they need a win here. Hell or high water, they need a win here. No matter how it happens, Brian Kelly needs a win here, because this narrative is starting to get out of control. He had a meeting with boosters last night, and it seems that there is a lot of different opinions about how this should be done, the way it should be done. And there has been an opinion that Austin Thomas, the roster management guy, has been handcuffed in his duties by Brian Kelly, and he doesn't want to enter these bidding wars, and we'll probably never know if LSU could have matched Michigan, and if we would have. And so it's like, you want to pretend like you hate NIL and you want to keep it old school, but then you have to play the NIL rules and play the game to basically keep players, and not only that, but to go get players. Why are you just dipping your toe in these waters? Go full in, and that's the thing, though. LSU comes from a state, Louisiana, that has elected people for decades in both parties who have used the state as basically a toxic chemical dumping ground for chemical, oil, and gas companies, and in doing so, it has ruined the state's wealth, killed off a lot of people with a lot of bad diseases, cancers, stuff like that, kept a lot of people poor as well. And then the richest of the rich have stayed rich. But the overall economy of the state is not doing well at all. And you're seeing the effects of that right here and now, in a moment of this NIL crisis for LSU. Where's the money come? The money has you look at Texas. An endless roster of rich assholes in cowboy hats and spurs on their shoes, on their boots, snakeskin boots, some type of skull of something dead on the front of their boot. These are sick people. These are people who probably eat the faces off of babies. Like I wouldn't trust one of these lecherous people around anyone in my family. But their checkbooks, they could own a small country. They could start a coup in Africa if they felt like it. Like these people are sick fucks who could really do some dangerous things in this world, and they're interested in college football right now at places like Michigan, where Dave Portnoy is like, you know what? Let's just troll LSU as hard as we can. Dave Portnoy hates LSU. Hates LSU. Jamer, what's up, Jamer? Jamer says we must win this game. Go Tigers. Here's the thing that's worrying, and here's why I feel it's really a toss-up of whether LSU will win this game, and if they're even going to have the fight to even try. It's really where's the plays coming from. I just see more plays being made by Vanderbilt than LSU, and that's why I predicted Vanderbilt to beat LSU 37-34. That was our prediction. We predicted LSU to lose 37-34 to Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt here in this. And I hope to God that does not happen. Where is the prediction? Is it not even on there? Like the prediction did the prediction get erased? The hell? Yeah, it did. Okay, wow. Good thing I caught this. Oh, I remember what happened. Yes, I copied and okay. I deleted the prediction. I like copied and pasted it to like put something in or move something. And then yeah, oh my God, that's embarrassing. Well, we'll be honest and just put in the same prediction, Sage, stop putting things underneath the couch. Data is not going to get everything for you. That's not how it works. You can't just throw things off of a building and jump, Dada, go get it for me. He's like, yeah. Sagey, you sick little crazy man. Sagey, how dare you? You are a dangerous little man. He spooked me so bad the other night because I hear like him moving around. And I'm kind of like, what the crap? He wakes me up. I can hear him like moving. I'm like, what is he doing? And I look over, and he's just like his silhouette of him standing in the dark, just like in his crib, standing in his crib in the dark, just staring, like not crying, not making a sound, just literally staring at me. And then he started yawning when I got up, and I could tell he was literally like, just staring off. But it scared the shit out of me for a second. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You look like Damien from The Omen right now, Sage. It was hilarious. It was so funny. I think he was half awake. LSU Vanderbilt. It's going to be a tough game because LSU are not in their right mindset. LSU are not in the right mentality. And here's the worst part, too. The coaches, I feel, have been, bending a bit to the situation here. They've been caving a bit to the situation here. You thought you were going to see Joe Sloan improve as the season went on, that he was going to grow with Nussmeier over these 2 years. And then it just became, well, Joe Sloan, he'll grow with Underwood and we'll be fine, and fuck you if you disagree, It was just this very like, we'll slap it all together and just, we're going to win a title. He'll start as a freshman. It's all good. Nuss, go to the NFL. Like, I'm thinking, thank God you're not in charge of things at LSU. Thank God, because we're talking about like a decade-long rebuild if we were to do something like that. It's already going to be a big-time slap in the face and hurt job when you're talking about LSU not being able to get a 2025 quarterback in the class. You always have to get a quarterback in every class to cover your ass. Look at it this way. Someone else will disagree with me on that, but look at it this way. The original decision from like Coach O before he was dismissed, his last moments like on staff and the final game went out of the way, and then they were trying to push Garrett Nussmeier to play in these games, and then there was the question about would he play in the Texas Bowl when Brad Davis was the interim head coach, and he didn't, and thank God he didn't, because if Garrett Nussmeier had played even just one more game, we would not have 2025 with Garrett Nussmeier as our starter like we do right now if he returns, which it looks set that Garrett will return. But imagine how just absolutely screwed LSU would be without Garrett Nussmeier in 2024, but also in 2025. And this guy's getting hit every play. This kid doesn't get any blocks. There's no running game for him to even just calm, take a breath, settle into a game. There's nothing like that for Garrett Nussmeier in this season. And so it's really unbelievable to hear some of the crazy, ridiculously vile, just lack of understanding of the game, just all the criticism towards Nussmeier. It's like you just hate him. You grew to be way too spoiled with Jaden Daniels get 10 yards every play automatically because he could just run it. So you didn't have to have an O-line to block. You could paper over all these cracks. Like, guys, you can't win doing that. That type of stuff doesn't exist. We need Nussmeier to evolve and to improve and to identify those spaces as he gets better in his career at LSU this next season. And hopefully the final games of this season too, because you've seen him do it against Wisconsin, his first start, a few other times. When he actually identifies those spaces, takes what the defense gives him, guts the team. Like, he could put up 500 yards every other game. Like, he's so delicious to watch throwing the football. When he is in rhythm, when he is using the pressure against the defense, moving to the left, moving to the right, slaloming around, extending the pocket, replatforming, all the beautiful stuff he does to dance around the pressures and then make beautiful throws in the face of the pressures. We haven't seen a lot of it this season. We've seen it here. We've seen it there. It's been ugly. It's been completely unorthodox. It's been him getting smashed in the face and barely getting the throws off, bad interceptions. It's been, he hasn't been clean, but it hasn't been, the pocket has never been pure for him to step into. He's been getting knocked around. I don't care how many sacks he has, he's suffered compared to other guys, other quarterbacks. If you actually watch the film, Nuss has been knocked around. This dude has had the shit knocked out of him multiple times each and every game in nasty ways. His toughness is incredible. It's off the charts. And you literally saw just brain dead fans of ours say, I question Nussmeier's toughness. Blah, blah, blah. It was like, the dude had a fucking concussion and didn't even question that he was going back in that game and playing in that game with a concussion. You had a head coach who knew there was no way he was going to be able to keep that kid out of the game probably. He should have still kept Nuss out of the game. But you're going to question Nussmeier's toughness? A kid who played through a concussion? Like, fuck you. A kid who took 7 sacks. I mean, seven sacks in a single game. And we're talking sacks where it's not just like they hit you and they get you to the ground, they sack you, and you lose 15 yards and you got to punt third down. Now it's fourth. Kills the drive. Sucks. We're talking like free shot, light him up as hard as you can, drill him, and not only that, but like the ball comes out as well. Like you really embarrass the O lineman. Like it gets so bad for LSU this season, where it's just like, what else? Here, bud, here's some water for the paint. LSU needs luck tonight. LSU needs breaks to come their way, because nothing has gone LSU's way for 10 quarters. And, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Here's some of the guys. See, this is what really bothers me, though, is it's just these players, not all of them, deserve this type of stuff. There's just no one there. It's like, I get it. It's kind of like the bro fan thing to do, to be like, haha, and just keep trolling and shit talking and just keep shitting all over these players, or, like, you're losing, ha 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 ha. And it's like, at the end of the day, I kind of wonder how many of those kind of fans are fans of winning or fans of LSU. Like, I understand, I would love to win a national championship every single season. That's never going to happen, no matter what team you're rooting for. I would love to have a dominant team, a team that could start something like that. It's just, it's tough for me to see people shitting on kids. CJ Daniels' mom is an epilepsy survivor. They're going to put this ribbon on the helmet to play for his mom, epilepsy survivor, and dealing with epilepsy every day. I've had multiple seizures in my life. They are awful. Awful, 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 awful. You deal with that every day. That's insane. Like, I have a lot of respect for someone who has to deal with it. It's crazy. I feel like you get your body beaten with a baseball bat, your tongue cut off feeling. Like, it's incredible the amount of pain that you go through. And that's even if you don't get hit on, like, you don't hit your head on anything. Like, if someone were to literally just hold you the whole time you would have a seizure, you would still feel like you were beaten up. But you saw some, I'm not going to put it on, I'm not going to give it any airspace, but you saw this jack boy prick on Twitter literally say, I don't give an F about this N-words, mom. I want Bryce. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like Bryce Underwood probably saw fans posting stupid crap like that for the last few weeks of, fuck you, we're getting Bryce. It's all good. We got Bryce. Like, we had Bryce in the bag. And I'm sure it probably pissed him off and probably drove him nuts. And then he goes there, sees LSU kind of collapsing and eroding in and around of itself against Alabama with his family. He goes there. Then probably discussions with Michigan ramp up. Discussions with Michigan get more serious. They're not just talking to his family anymore, to his parents anymore. Now Bryce is involved. That's exactly how this thing happened. And you can say, oh, it's just a money thing, fine. But I don't think $2 or $3 million was such a big difference. It decided this thing. When you're talking about a kid who could be making upwards of 50, 60 to 100 million in a contract. I really got to be honest. I think it's ridiculous to think that. So there's something else to this thing that happened. And what that is there's a breakdown in the relationship, but also it's seeing the erosion of what was going on, what was being built there. And it's seeing how toxic some of the fans are. When you see that there isn't a belief in some of these fans in Kelly whatsoever, they don't believe in what he's selling, what he's trying to push, what he's, the graduate champions. We're going to coach better. We're going to do this. You hear some of this same regurgitated shit. I understand exactly why the fans, the alum, maybe, a good portion of probably his own locker room are either questioning, what are we doing? Where are we going? Or are already off that train. Like let's be real about this. Let's be absolutely real about this. This is a game where we're going to find out who's already checked out. I'm not going to say if some guy's standing on the sideline, he's transferring. Look at that guy standing there looking pissed. He's transferring. It's not usually how it goes. Brian Thomas Jr. looked pissed off every time you saw him on camera. He had nothing but loyalty to LSU. Let's see what we're hearing from LSU's sports radio. See what we got. See if they've got any updates for us. They've been, I don't know if it's just all the breaking news that we've been getting, but it seems like it's made everyone else try to break a lot of news lately. It's cool. It makes our job a little bit easier because then more people are breaking news. Seiji, they're going to be wearing gold.
Black, mustard, yellow, and I heard Brandon try to slide that joke in there. He got 2 more strikes. I'm gonna fire him up. But look, as a matter of fact, the young lady right here. Look, that's the jersey right there.
There it is.
My young man right here. I like that. Yes, indeed. That's it right there.
I've seen a bunch of them around campus. There's no doubt.
It has and I saw that they rated the jerseys, the 2015 one. That was kind of, I would feel
that was a little mustardy. The ones they wore in the Fournette
era.
there.
I love those mustard.
This one here, we're gonna see.
There's a little bit of history to this. Jerry DiNardo was the head coach at Vanderbilt. He left Vanderbilt to come to LSU. And when he did that, Vanderbilt didn't like it a ton. Didn't like the way that the buyout went either. And so they would not allow LSU to wear white at home. You got to ask the visiting team permission to do that, and everybody's fine with it because they want to wear their colors. So Vanderbilt said, we're wearing white. You have to wear a color. So LSU busted out gold jerseys back in the late 90s. And they'll do it again tonight. BT, what do you think?
I like the pettiness behind that.
There you go.
I like these jerseys a whole lot better than the all whites. All whites
icy white.
It just look nasty. I don't like the way it looks. It don't match and it don't flow right. I like the way these gold jerseys flow.
We'll see. They'll come out of the tunnel wearing those just a little bit. We still got a ton to get to here from between the ramps to the Assembly Center across the street from Tiger Stadium. We got a weather update coming. We got to hear from Robbie Weinstein, who covers Vanderbilt for 24/7. Bob Diaco, LSU special teams coach, with us as well. So lock us in. We're coming.
I love the gold uniforms. I absolutely think they look sexy. They look 90s. They have a 90s vibe to them, a new 90s vibe to them. You know what I'm saying? Peggy says, so Bryce flipped because of the fans. No, guys, sometimes I think you're not listening to me. Sometimes I think you guys really listen for just a few things that I'm going to say and then kind of pounce on it and go, that's what he meant. I literally said, yes, there's money involved here. Yes. It's a difference of $3.5 million or whatever, but LSU couldn't raise that money, or Brian Kelly didn't want to raise that money. Whatever it is, there's also you can't say there wasn't an element that seeing a bunch of fans walking out on the team, freaking out, losing it online. Some of the stuff that was said online about the coach you're about to play for, about the offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach you're about to play for, and now you don't know if he's going to be there, and everybody wants them out, and there's no belief. Yes, that's just as impressionable on a kid in 2024 as it ever was, if not more so because of social media. Those things used to not make the biggest difference, because you could kind of get away from the fan reaction and kind of be like, okay, yeah, those fans are just losing it. I'm going to come in there and win games for LSU, and we're going to win a championship because it's me, I'm going to come in and change this whole thing. Instead, it's like, wow, maybe the whole ship is going down. But also, these people are going to give me a shit ton of money. And, I'm going to be able to stay home. And, it's right there. Like, so there's all these little things that just made it easier for him to do this. But yes, you can also say the fans played a role in this. You can say the social media, how should I say this? The social media bloodletting of Brian Kelly, which I have no problem with and actually agree with and think Brian Kelly deserved. It's going to have an effect, and I think it had an effect on the class. I think there's serious questions about the future of LSU and where we're going and who's going to be here, position coach wise, things like that. And so there's Joe Sloan, is he going to be here? Is he going to run the offense? Is he going to be quarterback's coach still? Is he going to call plays? Is he going to be coordinator? Who's going to come in to call plays for Sloan? There's a lot of different questions there. Does Kelly even like Sloan? Does Kelly even want Sloan anymore? Is Kelly wanting to use Sloan as kind of a scapegoat like House was for last year? Even though House was quite rightly the scapegoat. But you see what I'm saying? It's just – and if Kelly literally wants Sloan out, if Brian Kelly literally wants Sloan out this quickly after sacrificing Mike Denbrock so that you could promote Joe Sloan, he literally promoted Joe Sloan to co-offensive coordinator and said, Mike, hey, we're gonna promote Joe to co-offensive offensive coordinator because we got to keep Joe. Even though he didn't have to do that to keep Joe, he just wanted to look better with Bryce Underwood and hopefully sell that Joe is on the rise. And he thought that Joe would end up not having to call plays or be under pressure to be the offensive coordinator this year. It would just be Denbrock. And instead Denbrock said, "You're not going to fuck me over like that, Kelly. You're not going to disrespect me like that and let this guy come in here and be the co-OC with me. Like, no. And I'm going to make him look good? No. See ya. I'm going back to Notre Dame." That is what happened. Okay? And so now you got Joe Sloan, who's exposed. Caught in the crossfire hurricane, to quote the Stones. And Peggy, I love that you're watching, by the way. I absolutely love when you comment. I absolutely love that you keep me on my toes. And I absolutely love that you love the Tigers. You are a true fan, by the way, and a true friend. Because, Peggy, I swear we've been talking for like years. It's been crazy. But same with Jamer. Like, it's just crazy how long we've been all talking. But no, it's a nuanced thing. With me, it's never just a this, it, nah. Sometimes there is a very black and white thing. But a lot of times it's such a very black, white, gray, purple, silver, pink, like it's all over the place. There's a lot of different factors that can cause these things, especially when you're talking about a young kid and recruiting. You're talking about a lot of money. Talking about parents getting involved more than they were supposed to be, more than they advertised that they were, It's exactly how Shea Dixon said it went down. Sage, Joe. It's exactly how Shea Dixon said it went down. Where LSU were basically outbid by Michigan, 12 million to 6.5. But at the same time, there's a question mark there. Did Kelly not want to enter a bidding war? Did he not want to match? Did he see that, wow, they just went with the Godfather offer of 6.5 more million? Holy shit. And now if we go, well, we're going to go up with 6.5, 7 more. We're going to go for 13 million. What is Bryce going to think about us? Now you guys are about money. Now you guys are abandoning your principles. Now you guys are it's just such a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing with recruiting nowadays. I hate it. The kids can always judge the coaches. They can always say, oh, you think we're pieces of meat for the game, just get hurt for you to get another job. They can say whatever they want. And now they're in power. And the coaches are they can jump from team to team, get contract, but usually the coaches are usually the ones holding the bag for a bunch of underperforming guys. So it's kind of evened out now. You've seen coaches get screwed on this. You've seen recruits get screwed on this. You've seen transfers get burned on this. You've seen complete teams get burned on this in the portal. You see a lot of money dropped or almost dropped, and then that team gets burned for a new Godfather offer. It's just getting to the point where it's interesting. But Jacques Doucet posted something the other day basically saying, I'm getting too old for this shit. And it was very true. It was the good old days of college football of actually caring about the school, wanting to win for that school, those are dead. Sage, you're going crazy. What you doing? What? Sage, look what I found. Oh my God. I think that's code for he wants me to get off of this. So I'm going to get off of this. We're going to watch the game. One problem. Tonight, I don't think we're going to be able to do a post-game show. I'm going to be the one putting this little guy to bed tonight. Chelsea took her makeup crew to Park City for the last night to have some sleepover thing, take over some condo with the company ladies, and so she's gonna be gone for the night, and so it's gonna be me and the little guy. So I'm gonna be probably writing this article like I do every week anyway. We always come out with an article anyway, but there might not be a post-game show. I'm just going to let you know that right now. There's a good chance if the game ends earlier than 8, which I don't think it will, then there could be at least a little bit of a show. But I think this game's going to go later than 8, and so we're probably not going to get a show tonight. We'll probably get a show on Sunday, tomorrow. Also, apologies about the Darius guys thing, but what can I do when someone just doesn't show up and someone just drops, or you have to postpone at the last second? And nothing is more infuriating than me waking up today and him saying, can you do it today? And it's bro, wow. Now today I don't have anyone to watch my son at short notice. You're crazy that you're just thinking you can just bail on people like that and expect another show. We might have him on again. Sage, I'm trying to talk to some people. We might have him on again, but it's just, we might do the show, but it's just, that was not okay. It wasn't. And so we're gonna have to figure some things out. And but You all saw the screenshot of that text and saw that he basically backed out at the last second. Had nothing to do with any shortcomings on our side, which is a shame because we were ready for an absolute unbelievable show that would have really it had a chance to really do some special stuff where maybe he talks and talks about some of the stuff he did wrong and for the first time ever admits to some wrongdoing. You know, there could have been all sorts of things that could have gone down. So let's hope for that to happen. But at this point, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to push it. We're not going to promote it. I think the promotion of it maybe made him get cold feet. I was worried about that, but I also thought if we don't promote it, he's always going to back out because he backed out so many times. I thought it would hold his feet to the fire, you know. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to – we will do that show if it happens, and it's just going to happen. That's how the best stuff always does. So everyone – stay tuned for after the game for our article because whatever goes on, LSU win or lose, there is a piece of information that must be put out after this game that you will want to read on LSUODYSSEY.com, and we cannot wait to discuss it with you. And I cannot wait to write this thing. It's can't even explain it, but LSU are wearing gold tonight for the first time in like 25 years. It feels it's going to be like partying like it's 1999, 1998 tonight. It's going to be weird, wild, and all eyes are on Brian Kelly. All eyes are on these players and how hard are they going to play. All eyes are on Joe Sloan. What does his future look like? It's grim days at LSU, but let's hope we can get this win and stop this bleeding like a big-time golden tourniquet. We need a golden tourniquet. Okay, a golden tourniquet is what we need. Peggy, that was awesome that you were watching and commenting. I did not know that you watched our show. That's awesome. Thank you for checking it out. Jamer, of course, is always – Jamer's always a dear friend. We absolutely love Jamer. Jamer, I hope you're watching the game tonight from a cool vantage point, cool view. Send me some text during the game. Let's talk during the game. Let's have a back and forth, and let's keep talking. I absolutely love you. Sage is going crazy in here. So, IH2 consultation says Kelly is the worst hire since Hudson Curly Hallman. Interesting. You could be right, but at the same time, the Kelly era isn't close to over because we just don't know what's going to happen with this contract thing. Could LSU afford to just throw this thing all away, or why not just put all that money into getting better players? You know, we have a great staff. You can say whatever you want about Joe Sloan. Maybe you get a different play caller, okay. You can't say what you know. I think people are shitting on this guy way too much. Yes, the play calling has been bad, but we're not going to throw the baby out in the bathwater when this guy can recruit and bring any quarterback in America to your campus. That is an asset you cannot find very readily, very easily. Okay, that's something Joe Sloan is proven he has. And that's why you need to bring in an offensive consultant who calls the plays or helps Joe call the plays, helps Joe get better at this. A Joe Brady type. You know, Ensminger needed help with some of the route concepts and some of the more high-flying offensive parts of the red zone and third down efficiency that they had and the success they had with the Saints. And so Brady was like, let me show you all of our third down and red zone packages. All of a sudden, and then they just said, why don't we call this shit on first down? And they're like, okay, let's do this, baby. And that's when the thing really started taking off because they just got so aggressive. and just let Burrow just be like, let's be as aggressive as possible. Let's throw to Jamar like 6 times this first drive. Let's just do it. Okay, like that's the type of staff this team has and can have. But we don't have the personnel to do that. And this staff don't have the familiarity with the personnel that is capable of being great, that is there, of taking it to the next level yet. So really, I hate to say it, it feels like it's year 1 in Brian Kelly's era all over again. And that is very damning of this coach. If you're going to give him a decade to figure this out and to get a championship at LSU, are you really willing to? Does one man deserve a decade to get to even a championship, to within a sniff of a championship for LSU? He really should already have one with Jaden Daniels last year. And I know that revisionist is, no, you have a defense that can get you a few more possessions, that can win you just 1, maybe 2 more games. You are in the college football playoff, and you were outscoring Michigan. You were outscoring one of the weakest Alabama teams in the Saban era. You are absolutely winning the national championship last year with Heisman winner Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors sealing that Biletnikoff because the pedigree would have been too high. Instead, the defense absolutely let LSU. I mean, Malik lost the Biletnikoff by 1 vote. You're telling me that if LSU doesn't have a good enough defense that they get to the college football playoff, that Malik doesn't win the Biletnikoff? Of course he does. All of those things were affected and ruined by a shitty defense. And Brian Kelly, you don't have to say, oh, Brian Kelly, was he Matt House? No, that was on Matt House. Yes, but he also let Matt House call the same shit, play the same guys who were terrible, Omar Spates instead of Whit Weeks, Ovia Gufu instead of Braden Swinson, over and over and over and over and over and over again. Andre Sam and Major Burns at safety over and over and over. And he never said, change this goddamn system, man. What are you doing? You're killing me. He never asked him to change a thing. That's my issue with Brian Kelly. Is it too much? Is he giving coaches too much autonomy because he doesn't even know what he wants them to change? I was told by a good friend today about Kelly's offensive philosophy and Kelly's play call. And I'm like, bro, Kelly doesn't have an offensive philosophy. Where's his offensive philosophy? Where's the Brian Kelly playbook? Did he leave it on the 17th hole? You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, everybody, thank you for watching. Hopefully LSU can get the win tonight. I've predicted, sadly, LSU to lose this 34-37. But, my God, I am hoping to hell. I'm literally hoping to any god or deity that exists. So, if Buddha is the real God somehow, and we're all just wrong and it's all Buddha, or if it's this, like, to everyone, to any entity, in any galaxy, in any world, please give LSU a win. Do not let LSU lose to Vanderbilt, because if LSU lose to Vanderbilt, it is so bad for the brand. We can't continuously taunt Alabama for losing to Vanderbilt, because not only did Alabama lose to Vanderbilt, but they then absolutely destroyed us as if we were Vanderbilt every other year. And then we're going to lose to Vanderbilt. Like, it can't happen. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. LSU have to win this game tonight. I want a big game from Garrett Nussmeier. I want a lot of points. I want to see a team that is a fire-breathing, absolute ass-kicking dragon out there. Let's go, baby. In gold, break them. Go Tigers. Never back down. I don't give a fuck how many people are in the stadium. Beat the Vandy ass.